Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Acre. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm sharing this Hydrangea Haven card with you. Let's get started. For our card, we're going to use the Hydrangea Haven stamp set. And I've got a piece of basic white that's cut 2 by 5. Let me grab my scrap paper here. And my stamp and my Blushing Bride ink. And this is the background stamp that's kind of a little watercolory. And I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp. We're just looking for a light bit of color. And you'll notice I'm turning my stamp each time so that the portion that's showing isn't exactly the same kind of shape here. And then one more. Okay, let's put this out of the way and take the Blushing Bride out of the way. Oh, we may do one more while I'm at it. So the inside layer for the card is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to add one of these down here in the corner. And now we're through with the Blushing Bride ink. And I want my smoky slate then. And let's just ink up the top of the stamp. So as you can see, I'm just placing this detail bit on my ink pad. Make sure we give that a rub all over. There's lots of little fine lines here. Okay, and we're going to set that aside for the moment and then do that again. So I'm just setting the top on my ink pad. And we're going to repeat for each of these flower pieces here. Okay, put this out of the way and my smoky slate for the time being. And then we're going to move on to the Pear Pizzazz. And we're going to add leaves. So I've double mounted my leaf stamp. And I've got the little watercolory fill here. And we're going to add that in 2 or 3 places. And again, you want to turn it a little bit so that you get some variety of the look. And then let's do our outline and just come back and stamp over top of each of these. Super easy to line these up. Okay, and then finally for our leaves, I've got the tiny little leaf in the stamp set. And we're just going to use it to give us a little bit of fill. In our spaces here, almost as if it's its own little embellishment. Okay, now let's close this up and put it out of the way and move on to our next bit, which is doing our sentiment. So I have a 1/2 inch strip of Whisper White, basic white, and the smallest of the little watercolor splotch stamps. And let's get my Blushing Bride ink out. And I'm going to ink that up well and then stamp off. and I'm stamping so that I get the most amount of texture, so the little outline and all the little speckledy bits inside. And then let's pull in that smoky slate again for our sentiment. Just making sure I've got that nicely inked, and going to move this off onto my grid paper here so that I've got the most chance of being straight. And just huffed on that since I held it for a moment. Okay, and there's our sentiment. Let's put this out of the way. And then next, I've got one of my favorite punches, the Banner's Pick-a-Punch. And I'm just going to stick this in and nip off the end. And then let's grab my snips. Oops. And cut a straightish piece off the end here. And then we're going to put this in our punch. Now, if you need help straightening this up like I do, you can simply take your pick tool, and all I'm doing is making sure I've got that centered, since my cut was not completely straight on the end. Oop, that needs to go back in again. I've got too much space here. Oops, I've lost it in there. Okay, and we're just going to nip off another little bit here. Normally I go with a piece that is exactly the size that I want, and this time, to give myself plenty of room for error, I used a larger piece. When this is done, it measures about 2 1/4 inches. And now we are ready to put our card together. So I'm going to start with that inside layer. And I've got a piece of the In Good Taste designer paper, and then an 1/8 strip of smoky slate cardstock. So let's start by adhering this with the multi-purpose glue. And I love the designer papers in the In Good Taste pack. There are lots of great textures for backgrounds in the 24 pieces of designer paper. You've got wood and tile and paint, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but they're just really excellent, and the tones go with so many things. Okay, and then we'll trim this a little longer bit. And let's bring in the card base now and add this to the inside of our card base. And the base is cut at a standard 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Okay, and then we've got a larger piece of that designer paper. See, here's a little tile and a wood grain on the back of this piece, and then this great paint texture on the front. Okay, let's set that aside just a moment. Now I've got smoky slate that's 2 1/16 by 5 1/16, and we're going to add our stamped layer to that, and it's going to give us a little micro border that'll make this stamped panel pop just a little bit. Okay. And let me grab dimensionals and add those to the back of this piece. Oops. And let's grab 2 more. And we are almost done. Just a couple more pieces and then our embellishments. Okay, and then I've got our sentiment here and another piece of the In Good Taste designer paper, and that too has a neat little stacked stone look. More great texture. Okay, and I'm just going to layer these pieces up. And let's see, here are my mini dimensionals. So I've used a piece of cardstock here for my sentiment that was a scrap, and once it's on here, no one is going to know that it had a previous life being stamped on. So just trying to get these lined up so that they're not going to show here at the top. Okay, and I want to double stack those 2 that are at the top. Okay, now let's pull all of these off. We're going to lay this on here and get my look where I've got these overlapped. Okay. Now we need to double stack this one on the end. Which also means this one needs to be a triple stack, because this already has a dimensional under it, and we have to account for that height as we layer these up. Okay, and then that's nice and even. So let's add some of the snail mail twine combo. Going to use the Blushing Bride. Let's move my dimensionals out of the way and give this just a little bow. And I'm going to want my glue dots to adhere this. And I want my bow to be smaller, and I do like a long tail on the twine. So that looks like we've got it. Trying to make sure my bow isn't too large. And let's go ahead and put a glue dot on the back of that so that now the bow won't shift in size. And go ahead and cut that off. Move this out of the way. Okay, and then we need our embellishments, and I've got some of the silver metallic pearls. I forgot to take those out of my little baggie where I keep them, and we're just going to pick them up and accent here. Oops. Wanting to stick them to my grid paper instead of to my card. Not nearly as effective. Okay. And there we have it, our Hydrangea Hill card. Is that right? Hydrangea Hill, Hydrangea Haven. Thanks for stopping in. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker of theartfulinker.com. You can find all of today's supplies by clicking the link in the description below. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell if you'd like to be notified the next time I upload a video. And of course, I'd love for you to give this a like and share with your card making friends. Have a great day. Bye.